What the sea gave back. What does it take for a harbor to finally give up something it's kept for 26 years? 6 weeks into the reopened investigation, Salt Cove's Harbor Authority approved something it had refused twice before: a full sonar and dive survey of the seabed directly beneath the old Lighthouse pier. In the exact stretch of water where, according to the missing logbook page, a boat had once left after midnight and never been logged returning. Detective Grant Ellery had requested this search before, twice in the early weeks of the case. Both times he was told the currents made it impractical, the visibility too poor, the cost too high for a case with no new leads. The sudden approval came only after Robert Aldous, missing from Salt Cove for 26 years, was finally located. Living under a different name 3 states away, Aldous agreed to speak with investigators. On one condition: immunity from prosecution for withholding evidence. What he told them reframed everything the town thought it understood about that October night. According to Aldous's statement, he and Thomas Marlow were indeed working the overnight harbor shift together, exactly as the timesheet suggested. Sometime after midnight, Walter Marlow, Elena's father, arrived at the office asking to borrow the small maintenance boat, alone without explanation. He returned less than an hour later, soaked, shaking, and told both boys, in Aldous's words, to forget his boat ever left the dock. Neither boy asked why. Both were 17. Both were, in Aldous's words, more scared of Walter than of anything the water could do. It was Thomas, not Aldous, who cut the logbook page the following morning, before the harbor master's shift began, a detail Aldous says haunted him for decades, because he never understood, until years later, what his silence had actually protected. The letters found in Elena's sealed room take on new meaning in light of this account. Ask her he knows what Dad did was not, investigators now believe, an accusation of violence witnessed directly. It was Elena's own fear, written down in the weeks before her disappearance, that something between her and her father had already reached a breaking point. Neither of them could undo. The dive team's search, conducted over 4 days, did not recover a body. It recovered something else: a small waterproof case, wedged for over 2 decades into a submerged rock crevice roughly 60 meters from the pier, precisely where Aldous's account placed Walter Marlow's boat that night. Inside it, water damaged but partially legible, were pages that appeared to be a private journal, not Elena's handwriting, but her father's. Forensic document analysts are still working to recover the full text. What has been confirmed publicly is a single fragment, water-stained but readable. I only meant to bring her home. I did not mean for the argument to go the way it did. It is not a confession to murder. It is not, according to Ellery, proof of anything beyond what it plainly states. But it is, for the first time in 26 years, an admission, in Walter Marlow's own hand, that the official story of a drowned teenager swimming alone at night was never the whole truth. Thomas Marlow, informed of the journal's discovery, reportedly wept for the first time in the entire investigation. His statement to Ellery, brief and unguarded: "I locked that room because I was afraid of what she knew. I never let myself think about what I knew." Elena Marlow's body has still not been found. The case, as of this filming, remains formally open, no longer as a missing persons file, but as an active inquiry into the events of that October night, and into what, exactly, happened between a father and a daughter that an entire town spent 26 years helping to bury. The lighthouse still stands at the edge of Salt Cove, its beams still sweeping the harbor every night, guiding boats safely home the way it always has. What sits at the bottom of that water, 60 meters from the pier, is no longer a mystery. What remains is the question Salt Cove will now have to answer. Publicly, for the first time, not what happened to Elena Marlow, but how long an entire town can keep choosing silence before the sea simply stops keeping it for them.